Hello guys, I'm Coach Andre and this is my athlete Mazan Lewis. So today I'm going to start with a postural assessment on you. So basically the reason for a postural assessment is if we can look if there's any problems in your muscles, or if there's muscles underactive or overactive, or if there's any postural deviations where we can work from. So if there's any deviations, we can see what injuries that would cause and what injuries can be prevented through this postural analysis. So this will help you in your sports for the future. So if you have any problems, let's say you have a posterior pelvic tilt, then it could cause hamstring injuries if you're running in sprints. So that's the reason why we're doing this, to see if there is any problems in your posture, deviations in your posture, and if there's any reasons to overcome it, or yeah. Okay, so Mazan, what I want you to do is I want you to stand in an anatomical position. So how it looks is I want you to stand straight forward, body erect. All right. I want your feet to be shoulder width apart, palms facing forward. All right, and just looking in front of you. Everything erect, so it means your back is straight. So if you just can stand in that posture for me. So shoulder width apart. Just relax this. All right. I just asked my athlete to tuck in a shirt, so that would be easier for me to analyze the posture. So I just want this to be relaxed. All right, you can face it forward for me. So I'm gonna start at the back of your body. All right. Okay, can you just put your fingers on your hips for me? Yes, just put it on that bone. Leave your hands. Okay, I'm gonna do the side view. Okay, and then I'm going to do the front view. All right. Okay, so what I came upon your postural analysis, you actually have a really good posture. The only problems that I saw, you have a slightly posterior pelvic tilt. So this means is your glutes are facing backwards. All right. So that could actually cause injuries because you're a sprinter, right? So when you're a sprinter, that could cause injuries because when you run, you actually want to run out of your glutes, because your glutes is the main muscle when it comes to sprinting. Your glutes with your hamstrings. So because you have a posterior pelvic tilt, your gluteus maximus and medius could be underactive. So that means is when you run, your gluteus maximus won't produce much power as it should. So that means your hamstrings has to overwork to compensate your weak glutes, and then because your hamstring will overwork, it could cause injuries. Injuries that could be prevented is by fixing this. So I can give you exercise to improve your core muscles, your lower core muscles. So posterior pelvic tilt could be tilted straight in line, and also by doing that could prevent hamstring injuries. By looking at other stuff like your knee rotations, it is actually straight. It's not internal or bowed. You don't have bowed legs. So that's actually nice. That could actually help also your hamstrings. Okay, so Mazan, I want you to stand at the side for me. I just want to explain to you guys. You can see she has a slightly posterior pelvic tilt. All right, like I said, that could cause injuries in our hamstrings because our gluteus maximus is underactive. All right, or it will be underactive. Okay, so if I look at your posture from the side, I could see mainly, well, basically just looking at your posture, we can see that your rectus abdominis is underactive. So we have to improve that by giving you core exercises. All right, I'm going to give you core exercise to stiffen up this core and to strengthen the core, so your pelvic tilt could be neutral. All right, and then I could also see your calves is overactive. It's overtrained, well, not actually overtrained, but I think it's actually really big by comparison to your hamstrings and your quads. Your calves and your quads, it's actually too big comparison to your hamstrings. I would say the antagonists of your hamstrings are way too big comparison to your hamstrings. So we can also improve your hamstrings. So it's basically your glutes and your hamstrings and your core muscles that needs work on. Right, so For the flexibility test, I'm going to use Mazan as my athlete. She's a marathon runner. The flexibility test I chose to do with you is the lumbar spine flexion test. So basically the lumbar spine flexion test is where you as an athlete going to test your flexibility in your spine, so basically your back and your hamstrings. So what it requires for you is to stand feet next to each other, against each other. So what I want you to do is, by keeping your knees extended, so basically by keeping your legs straight, I want you to go down as far as you can, okay? Then you're gonna have 2 attempts, so you're gonna rest 5 seconds and then you're gonna go again. All right, then I'm gonna test your measurement as far as you can go, and I'm gonna compare it against the norms. Do you understand? So the reasoning for this test is because you're a marathon runner athlete. I advise it is important when it comes to long distance, your hamstrings and your back with your gluteus maximus should be loose. Why? Because when you run, marathon athletes normally run with long strides, okay? So that occurs for the athlete to extend his leg fully while being like this. So if you have really short hamstrings, that could give you back pain, all right? And it could also have a chance to give you hamstring injuries. So if you don't have long hamstrings, if your hamstrings is not stretch flexible, if it's not flexible, you can have injuries. So you can have hamstring injuries. The chance to have maybe a tear could be high, or maybe it could be stiff. Okay, so again, do you know what you have to do? So I want you to go down. I'm going to use this ruler to measure where you are, and then I'm going to compare it with the norms. So feet next to each other, against each other. All right, perfect like that. So can you go down for me as far as you can? Is that the furthest you can go? All right, so stand up for me again. Okay, we're going to do it once more. All right, second attempt. Let's go. Okay, is that the furthest you can go? Okay, I'm going to look for any deviations in your back, and your knees has to be extended just like that. So is that the furthest you can go? All right, so now I'm going to use this ruler, and then I'm going to measure you from top to bottom from your index finger. So basically I'm going to put it like this. All right, and then your third finger would be 27 centimeters. Okay, so it's 27 centimeters. For you, in order to pass the test, you have to touch the ground. Unfortunately, you fail to touch the ground. So your range is between 0 and 27 centimeters. So you failed the test. So I can give you exercises, flexibility exercises to improve your flexibility in your hamstrings. So exercises that I will give you, for example, is just basically legs together, stretching like 3 sets of 30 seconds, or even when you cross your legs, 3 sets of 30 seconds. You can also lay on your back with a rope, and then you keep your hamstring up straight. I will explain to you later what it means, but basically you are a little bit too tight. So for a marathon runner, it could cause hamstring injuries. Like we also did with the posture analyst, you also have a posterior pelvic tilt. So with that, with your tight hamstrings, that could cause injuries. That could really cause injuries. You even train when you train, and so we have to improve that stiffness. All right. Your back is also too tight, and basically because of that, that could cause injuries with your hamstrings, and also you can have cramps in your back when you run. So yeah, so basically your back, your glutes and your hamstrings are connected together. So if you have back injuries, that could cause hamstring injuries because your glutes are too weak. So when you run, that is really bad. But like I said, the exercises I mentioned will really help you. I will also give back stretches for your latissimus dorsi. So basically you can sit like this, all right? And then I want you to move sideways, 20 seconds each side. That's an example for exercises you can do. So the next test we're going to do with my athlete here is the functional and motion test for a swimmer. So the test I'm going to do is a push-up test. So the reason we're doing this test is basically when it comes to a swimmer, his stability in his shoulders has to be strong, and also with his pectoralis major, the stability has to be strong. Common injuries when it comes to a swimmer would be small tears in the posterior anterior deltoids. So basically what this requires is it builds their stability. By doing this push-up test, it builds their stability, and also it helps them to see where they lay. So what I want you to do is, can you just hold this for me? So I want you to go down as a normal push-up. Make sure your arms are shoulder width apart. All right. And then I want you to just go down and up. While you're doing this, I'm going to use this ball. And I'm going to put it on your back. So basically, if I explain it to you, I'm going to put it on your back, on your sacrum, and then your head, your thoracic spine, your lumbar spine, and your sacrum must touch the pole. So if your head are not there, but the rest are, you have a score of 2. But if all of your limbs touch, it's a score of 3. All right. Do you understand?
I understand.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Just when you're ready, you can start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here. Make sure your head's touch. Head a little bit down, please, for me. If you can put it more down. All right. So make sure this touch as well. Okay. You can go up, down. All right. You can stand up. So, just to give you feedback, you actually did really well. Just when you started, the head wasn't touched, but since you moved up, so it's a score of 3 because all your limbs touch the pole, and that's actually really good. So if my athlete fails to touch all the limbs, it's a score of 0. So what this means is, when they have a score of 0, this means that their stability in the shoulders are really weak. The rectus, the abdominal stabilization is also weak, and also their back stabilization. So this could cause a lot of injuries when it comes to swimming. This will basically mean that their deltoids and their pecs would overwork. So that could cause those small tears in the anterior deltoids. All right, guys. So the next test we're going to do is the muscular strength and stability test. So the best test for that would be the shoulder stability push-up test. So this is a cricket player, all right, and when it comes to cricket players, usually they bat most of the time, so their shoulder stability and strength should be really strong. All right, so that's why we're going to do the strength and stability push-up test. So this will actually improve. If you do it really well, it will show you actually that you have strong stability, and that's what actually help you to swim fast. And if you're not good at that, the cones would be, you will suck at cricket. I'm joking. But yeah, so what I want you to do is, I'm going to use this ball to measure if your back are straight. So what I want you to do is, I want you to go down. I want you to go down like a push-up, arm shoulder width apart, back extended. Your neck should be, you don't have to look up, but you have to look down, but it should be straight. So everything should be straight. So just like this. So we get 4 levels. So the first level, we're going to hold 10 seconds like this. All right, after the 10 seconds, you're going to go down. You're going to hold it 10 seconds. If you completed that, you're going to go up. You're going to lift up your upper arm, 10 seconds. And then the last level, left arm, 10 seconds. Your goal has to be to improve or to complete all 4 levels. I'm going to look for any abbreviations in your hips or in your back. If you fall down, you unfortunately fail the test. You understand that? Are you ready? Alright, so Andriku, before you go down, remember the whole test you're doing in 1 try without resting, and then if you complete all 3, you're really good. Alright, so when you're ready, I'm going to use this to measure. Okay, you can put your butt a little bit higher, head a little bit lower. Yeah, alright. And 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, 1 second in. Alright, head higher, butt higher, back lower. Yeah, perfect. Okay, 10 seconds in, level 2. Right, perfect. Right, 17, 18, 19, 10 seconds in, level 3, left arm. Leg you can keep straight. I'm going to look for any abbreviations. Right, okay, you can stop the test for me. Thank you. You can stop the test. So basically I had to stop you because you failed at level 3. Your right hip fell in, so that's unfortunately a failure, but it's actually not too bad. It's really not too bad, and most of the people continue on past level 1, you know. So that's actually really good, and because you are a cricket player, this will actually help you a lot because you have a lot of stability in your core. We can improve on that, yes, but other than that, it's actually really good. Well done. Okay guys, for the next test is the speed and agility test. So basically this is my soccer player Mazan. She plays center. So the test I've chose for the speed and agility test is the agility T test. So if you can see the cones, so basically how it works, cones are placed, the first to the second cones are placed 10 meters apart, and then those two cones is 5 meter left, 5 meter right. The reason I chose this test was because Marjan plays center in football. That requires her to be in the midfield the whole time. So to explain to you guys how the midfield position works is that requires a player like especially for Marjan to be around the field the whole time. So she has to run wherever the ball are. So where the ball are, she has to be to defend player or to attack player. So that position requires her to run forward, to chase the ball, or to retract, to run backwards to be with the ball. And that position requires her to also run left and right, because she has to step around players with the ball. She has to dribble a lot. She has to sidestep and all those stuff. So this agility test, T test, is really good for a soccer player, because this test allows you to run forward, step back and side, and it will measure your time where she lays. So Mazan, just to explain to you how it works. So what I want you to do is, I want you to stand with your feet in line with the cone, all right? And then when I'm gonna set you off, I want you to, so you're gonna sprint all the way.
To this cone, I want you to touch the cone, dribble to the right side, touch, dribble all the way to the left side, touch, dribble to the middle, touch, back.
As fast as you can, all right? So if you forget to touch, unfortunately, you have to try again. You have 3 attempts. So when you're ready, are you ready? You can start the test on my mark. All right. On your marks, stand with feet in line with the cone. Set, go. Touch, fail.
We did that.
Yeah. So that was her first attempt. So she has 2 attempts left. So yeah. Okay, Mazan, this is your third and final attempt. Remember to touch each cone. All right, are you ready? Set, go. Dribble. Touch. Left. Touch. Middle touch. Backwards. All right, well done. All right, well done, Mazan. So your time was actually 10.26, which is actually excellent. So if you range that from the norms, that's the highest from the highest. So you can actually be a professional soccer player. That's actually really good. So that will show me that your agility and speed is actually very good. So well done to you. So basically injuries that could happen with this test, if your ankles are really weak, that could cause injuries in your ankles. But like I see, your ankles are really strong, so that's actually good, stabilized. And yeah. All right guys, so our next test, are you ready for this? Is really bad. This is a cardiorespiratory fitness test for a rugby player. So the test I've chose for you today is the Bronco test. So basically, as you can see, we have cones set out at the 20 meters, 40 meters, and then 60 meters. All right. So what I want you to do is, I want you to run as fast as you can to the 20 meter and back, 40 meter back, 60 meter back. That's 1 round. You have to complete 5 rounds in the time, which I will say now. So basically, important to notice, when you pass a cone, make sure you pass both legs. All right, and then run back. Okay, I'm gonna stand at each cone where you should go, and then you have to do it 5 rounds. Be smart, don't go four out at the first, and then you have a certain time to complete that in. All right, so because you are a forward rugby player, I want you to complete the test in 4.5 and 5 minutes. If you complete that in that norm, it means you are actually on a high fitness level. Anything below that, you're actually really fit, or above that, you are unfit. This test is good for rugby players, because in rugby, as the soccer, you run a lot, up and down, and you tackle, so you have to be fixed. You have to be capable of running 4 minutes like that, right? And the approach for this test is you can actually measure where you are, to measure yourself, and this will actually improve your fitness in rugby. The cones, again, this is actually not a real rugby game, so you're not going to run up and down like this the whole time in rugby, so you don't have like a direct measurement, but it will help. Alright, so are you ready? We're going to have a timer here. Alright, I'm going to start the time, and I'm going to lift my hand when I let it go. You have to go. Ready? And start. Round one completed. You have 4 more rounds. Alright, let's go. Well done. 1 minute in. Minutes in. Right. Last one for the round. 4, second last one. Come on, you can do it. Second last round. Second last round. Well done, you go on. Well done. Alright, so you completed it in 4 minutes 50 seconds, which is actually 10 seconds below, and you only had 1 round left. So that is actually very good. Well done, Indriku. That's actually not too bad. I would say you're a little bit unfit, below the norm, but other than that, you can improve on that. And like I said, well done. It's not too bad. You can improve on your fitness, but for a beginning in this, not too bad.